All right, and another one of our very big stories today. Make no mistake, the border in Arizona is bubbling over, and this hot political brew is being stirred from Tucson to D.C. During the latest protests, look at that. One person vandalized the state capitol building using refried beans to draw a swastika. All of this is coming because the governor signed into law a bill that's going to allow police to ask those they suspect are in the country illegally to produce their papers and prove that they are here legally.
This law is a response to the president's and the administration's failure to secure our borders. Our borders are broken. It's worse than I have ever seen it.
Clearly, the law clearly gives the policeman the right to target based on he's looking for Mexican immigrants. You can't have it both ways, Tucker. You can't say we're going to stop people from coming from Mexico, but we're not looking for Mexicans. I mean, do you think the public is stupid?
I think the last year and a half, with my 5 letters that I have sent and have spoken to the president personally in regards to that, has been met with complete, total disrespect to the people of Arizona. I mean, we don't even get an answer back from our letters in regards to securing our border.
That's a very striking statement there from the governor of Arizona, Jan Brewer. And joining me now is Jason Rowe, former senior advisor to Mitt Romney, as well as the GOP campaign consultant, and Kirsten Powers is a New York Post columnist and a Fox political analyst. Welcome. Great to have both of you with us today.
Thank you.
You know, this feels like a very hot issue, and it feels like it's going to keep driving all the way to the midterm elections at least. Kirsten, what about that statement by the governor there, by Jan Brewer? She says she wrote letters to the president. She says it was disrespectful that she received absolutely no response when she requested to be backed up on what is a federal law to protect the border.
If it's true, then she has a valid complaint, but I don't think that that makes this law right, and I don't think that it is okay to just be targeting people based on what they look like, not based on the fact that they, that they may have committed a crime. There's no way to know if, 1 in 3 people of Latin descent or Mexican descent are living there legally. How are you going to know who to ask? I just don't think it's an appropriate response.
Well, Jason, that is the worst case scenario, Jason, is what Kirsten is pointing out here. That people their doors would be knocked on, they would be pulled over for no reason. What do you say about that?
Well, I think the reality is how this would actually be applied is not so much that you're going to be targeting people, but anyone that gets pulled over in a routine traffic stop is going to have to show some identification that demonstrates that they are a citizen. So I don't think that this is anything extraordinary. If anything, it's just reinforcing the argument that we're going to enforce the laws of Arizona. And this is a state that has 500,000 illegal immigrants in its state right now, and the federal government has failed to do anything to address the problem. And, it's the Obama administration, but it predates the Obama administration as well.
Well, some people say that the president's already tapping into this fervor and the emotion of this issue in his latest address that went out on YouTube yesterday. Let's take a look at a little piece of this.
It will be up to each of you to make sure that the young people, African Americans, Latinos, and women who powered our victory in 2008 stand together once again.
Kirsten, how did that strike you? Some people found that sort of offensive, that he would call out individual groups and say, you're the ones who got me elected, and you need to come back out and help us in the midterms. And I even heard somebody speaking last night, I think it was on the O'Reilly Factor, saying, can you imagine if George W. Bush came out and said, we need white people, evangelists, started ticking off people who had been big supporters of his campaign, and what the reaction to that would be?
Well, I would be surprised if that kind of stuff hasn't been done. I mean, certainly there's outreach to senior citizens. I'm sure that there has been outreach to evangelicals and people who have been asked to vote. I mean, these are people who voted for him. I don't have any problem with it, and I think that, in fact, it's a smart political strategy. The fact of the matter is, I think that this immigration debate, when it gets to these extremes, I think it really works against the Republicans. I just don't think it's where Americans are. I can remember in the midterm elections, all the Republicans telling me, oh, this is going to be the defining issue. Americans are mad about it. And of course, Democrats came into power. So, I think the Republicans are really misreading this. And I don't think there's anything wrong with Obama reaching out to his base.
Are they misreading this, Jason?
Yeah, I think they are. I mean, I understand what they're doing. They're trying to do everything they can to motivate Latinos in the next election. But, you know, I don't think Republicans are in any position where we need to cede ground on this. I mean, this is really talking about enforcing the law. We're not targeting any particular class of people. It just so happens in border states, which is what Arizona is, you know, this is a pretty prevalent Hispanic population. And so, you know, obviously there's an issue there that other states might not have to contend with. But the reality is, if we get our rhetoric right and our messaging right and stay away from some of the nasty things that have been said in previous years, I think we have a real opportunity to pick up Latino votes. And in large part, it's because of the failures of this administration to really address any of the pressing problems facing this country, like employment, which is one of the reasons that a lot of Latinos come here from Mexico.
Right. Well, we'll see what happens, you know, in the midterm election. The J.D. Hayworth and John McCain on the Republican side will, I think, give us a good indication of how powerful this topic is going to be as we go forward. Kirsten, thank you so much. Jason, good to see you again.
Martha.
Welcome, you guys.